Why'd they try to kill me so effortlessly? Why'd they choose not to love me appropriately and true? It runs deeper than most could even bear. I apologize for looking down. I'm trying to get through this, and I'll probably have to recreate a lot of this, but I really appreciate your guys' support, and I hope that you continue to listen to what I have to say. It's very important to me, and I believe that within my Heart's Work website, it could mean a whole lot more to you as well. And in fact, it would mean a whole lot more to you as well at that time, especially if you are a part of my website. So, I showed up. I'm going to continue with my notes here. I showed up real. I showed up hurting. I showed up no matter how I felt, and even when I felt like I couldn't, I still showed up. I showed kindness and virtuous ability, still searching for answers, but I stayed loyal in all of my attempts at loving them, and establishing a love life with my comrades the way I would have wanted them to establish it with me. Until I was drawn out of myself, I couldn't reason through it all. And you literally can't when you're being poisoned. I didn't know what it had to do with all the time. I had to learn through patterns. I gave them my everything I had, every ounce of my energy. Even though I was broken and I could feel it down to my bone, I still knew I had something to figure out. But beautiful in all that I had gone through, still. And still blinded by my own eyes, my own mind, while they robbed me blind to the facts, not just of my consistency, but constantly trying to piece it all together. They left me so disheveled and out of touch with reality that they stole me of meaning. They stole me of my essence, the sanctity of myself, my purpose, and of my own trust, not only of others, but of my own self. Could I ever believe that true love was going to be true? Could I ever believe that love was meant to feel safe? Could love ever feel safe again? 'Cause I didn't feel safe in love. They didn't just try to kill me with poisons and plots about my life and my ability to live my own life, but they killed me, my inner child, my inner sanctum, and the person that I could have become. That light inside of me, like that inner sanctum of a child that was full of wonder, full of roam, and full of fight for that true light, that true love's life. But before them setting me up, before all the sabotage, I knew I had something to figure out and fight through. They dressed up a love like affection, but they didn't even know me. They never knew the real me. They never gave me a real chance to establish a life outside of what they were doing to me. And as I tried to run, they tried to overwrite me, to silence my voice, to stop me from making my own choices in an original way at all, or in an organic way to nature of who I was and who I would have been without the abuse. So they tried to break down my body. They tried to break down my mind, one placement, one system at a time. But what hits the hardest is how they looked at me with contention, full of gamed up smiles while feeding me into lies, feeding me poisons meant to tarnish my real and actual reality of who I was, to be somebody else that I couldn't figure out at the time, and at many times, nor could I figure out how to fight. So they'd feed up their narratives in telling others how and who I was, somehow to place the blame on me, to create me in an erasure of my own self, which worked to some level and to some degree. Strong degrees in areas and lesser in others, but I was on autopilot. And I still wonder, why didn't they love me true? They didn't have to be perfect, but just come correct and come real with me. Not for performance sake, no disguises, just present, or to protect what we should have been caring for each other. So why didn't they protect what we did share? And then with my own girlfriends, proxy made girlfriends, why did they move on my life? How did they move on my life in that way? Kiss me just to work on killing me, all at the same time. It is so disheartening, you guys. Everything I gave of myself and thought to be allowed to be open and leave my heart open to love. You should be able to be open and love. That's what helps people be free with each other. So, in love, I had to learn how to close myself off and to become distanced. To be honest and concerned, to be honest and concerning with your partners and with those you love, you should be able to be open. But being open just came with an expiration date already set and planned for this erasure. No safety net, just all knives out. And then when I went around the corner with all knives out, they would be basically throwing me up against that wall. And the worst part of it all is when they were fond of me, or they were my own blood brothers, or my own family, my father, they sentenced to take me away. They sentenced my life to take me away. From my own father, to my own brothers, to my own supposed proxy-made friend of 28 years, to proxy-made girlfriend after girlfriend, and anywhere I was finding an organic relationship, it would be leaving breadcrumbs as to why. All the torture and blight that they left around the areas of my life where I finally felt like I had someone real. But they aimed at me to take me away, and they aimed to kill. Always leading me down the same plans and the same plays to not only take my life, but take me away from myself. Or from never reaching discovery about the crimes that they were committing against me at all. Just one proxy betrayal upon another, proxy relationship upon another, proxy war of a spiritual warfare, all while leaving me lost in the poisonous ways or the psychological damage on repeat in my life, all within contrast that I never signed up for. But they were in contract with each other. They could have chosen to be true, to love me. They could have chosen mercy. They could have stood by my side, but instead they left the daggers in my back that they had just thrown me up against that wall and took me for so dirt cheap to play me up and just play me out. And I was just left there still standing up for them while the daggers were in their hands, and I couldn't see. Like nobody would have wanted this. Nobody would have suspected it. Nobody would have wanted it. And you didn't ask for this, or I didn't ask for this. I just couldn't reason through it enough to see it all for what it exactly was. But it was them choosing to stake claims on me. Excuse the noise. That's what they're trying to take away, is my availability to my normal self. Staking claims on me, and my life was being bled out dry. They stood to have power over me, to silence and discredit me. Not only for myself, to discredit myself in a poisoned up state of mind, but they also moved to discredit me and silence me to others, and stop other people's love and respect of me, to stop me in that way as well. Amazon keeps calling me. It's the last thing I care about. They stood to have power over me, to silence and discredit me, and it was always made to invalidate me, but with intent, not just, oh, he's just looking for validation. Don't validate him. That's how my middle brother would always say it. So they left me there to question everything about this life, as if my life ever mattered to them at all. When how could it? As if I could ever be allowed to even matter to my own self in that sentiment. Instead of being staged up, I was being led into blight, overgrown pain, and then forced into homelessness, fighting all of my life, really. It wasn't just the 12 years, that's why I say 12 plus years. But I was homeless, all to get me to question their own loyalties, all while leaving me there to have to question it at all. But now I see what I needed to learn from, and I've learned the truth. I just had to keep on walking right through that fiery storm that they had planned to leave in place, that I didn't always see for what it was. They left me in such a bad way, where the idea of me was even totally gone away from me, myself, and I. So they killed me within myself, and they killed me without reason, or the ability to reach that reason. But Jesus never withdrew that love, and God didn't ever say that he wouldn't be there. So if God is love, how could they even claim to have loved me, ever, at all? While ensuring that I was fighting just to figure out forward for a lot of my life, around every breath that I gave, they'd moved to take it all away, as though nobody ever was supposed to see the truth, and even moved to take everyone that I had ever loved away from me as well, too. All while leaving me in unanswered questions of why. Why was I questioning through all of this covert warfare and through all of the poisonings as my memories faded away? And they'd be there to psychologically torment me in the same breath. Every scar that I bore, they'd wear their masks and secretly plan and scheme to leave my heart all torn. All at the same time, leaving me out lost and so far drowning out of myself covertly. They couldn't have loved me, or prepared themselves in any other kind of way. Because if that truth came out, and if I could have carried out that truth outside of being lost off in that way, yeah, they needed to keep me that way. They needed to keep me that way to cover me up in scars that I couldn't see, not only for my own self at the times. I didn't always know that I was being poisoned up. I had to learn through patterns, just like I've said before. But I couldn't see myself making it out, even halfway out of the homelessness at times, nor out of all of that pain, because they never could bear the thought that I wanted to love myself instead of giving away all of myself for love and for the energies that I got instead, all torn up and completely lost. No shame, no trauma, just the truth covered up with more and more lies. So my finally surfacing myself and reaching for that purpose in my own life and my own voice was a dangerous weapon in their steady plots and scheming over me to ensure that I'd have been lost forever. Even after everything that they had already known, I'd been through it all. They didn't just not want me to survive, but they needed me for their own reasons, unalived. I knew far too much about them or about these plots, even when I couldn't figure out why. I could still feel something was amiss, down to my bones. And all that time, all that I knew was that I had to make it out somehow, alive. I didn't even care how. I didn't see all the reasons as to why or how I would figure out a way out. I just knew that if I didn't stay focused in that fight, and on that fight, on my work in front of me, that they were going to get me killed and silenced forever, never reaching discovery of the real crimes that they had crafted out over me, made specific and tailored to me. I put together a lifetime of pieces that were meant for my harm, as though I was just supposed to go away silently without setting off the alarm. So I planned to come out and speak for 16 years, so this is like 18 years now, after the 2 years plus that it's been of me actually speaking out. There's been 16 years of me trying to get to a point where I could just speak out. I was made shy. I was never shy, though. I was made shy because they needed me to be shy. They needed me to be all secluded, and not only myself, but secluding me from other people. So I had planned to come out here and speak, but they couldn't handle the narrative that I was after and wanting to take up. So they knew if I ever had the availability to speak, where it could go to, and I didn't even know when I first started. I was just trying to surface my own voice, my own heart's work, my own calling from the heavens for heaven's sake. They wanted to control my voice and keep me woven in their tapestry of manipulated madness and grief. So next, they aimed at taking away every last little thing away from me to tarnish my life. And not only that, but I had already had enough. And it wasn't just only that, it's much more than I could even suggest, to tell you the truth. I just wanted to still be able to begin, to establish my own self, my own voice, my own choices, my own life, my own love, my own comrades, my own camaraderie, for heaven's sake. I felt like I deserved that after all of this long fight. And the challenge that they were faced up with began to mirror back at them when my words started to cut them up, and they wore them like the daggers that they had always hid. So my choices, my autonomy, and calling back my energy only challenged their entire scheme and their entire lie of love, when it wasn't love at all. So when their narratives lost control over me, and I had already survived the many attacks that were meant to stage me up to kill me, hell, they just wanted to create a problem that would go take care of itself on its own, to silence me once and for all. They didn't even like me. They didn't like who I was, let alone love me. When they couldn't control my narratives anymore, nor cover up their own plans to shred me up like a birthright to a blender, they couldn't erase my soul I carried. So next they tried to erase all the record and all record of me, which is where I'm at right now, in a sentiment, because they have erased my Facebook again. They have been taking stakes and claims on my life. They have been leaving me in this overgrown blight, and I'm talking about the very the very places of police or investigations, the FBI, the IC3, identity theft.gov, the Attorney General, the Attorney Generals, I should say, and other candidates who are within the seats of our own White House. So, where I've already put out information, it should have already come back full swing in my favor as far as being able to establish my own life. Sure, leave them alone. If you don't want to bring them to jail, don't bring them to jail. Just protect me and have me be able to have my own name, my own life, my own mind, my own ability to grow, and protect me from them being able to stop me, because that's all that they've been doing my whole life. But do they have protection like that at all? Or is all of my rights as well just being shred up like my birthrights to a blender? They couldn't erase my soul, and I carried on with what little I had, fighting just so hard to even get enough for this house. And then even while I'm in this house, they're gonna gaslight me and manipulate and play about these spiritual warfares worse than ever. They hacked my life incomplete to leave me desolate without any outreach of support system and no rights to my own surname. They didn't even want me to invest in myself, let alone take the time to send those fires that I had been living within and to give them to the Lord. So they tried to kill who I was and whoever I could have been and whoever I could be in the eyes of everyone else, to take more stabs at the truth of all that I was, yeah, even to others within my own family or within their own children that they've lied to, their own spouses, their own neighborhoods, their own workspaces, their own community, just to save their own faces. They didn't only try to steal my identity, but they tried to erase me, my identity, in all that I was, or could have been, or could yet still become. So my personal story became the very weapon, and it's my survival mechanism that became the anthem of a man surviving every single war attack on his life. So it's my war cry. It's my fucking everything. And it wasn't just me burning down their whole plan, but the reason I had with wisdom to know that I had the right, the God-given inalienable right, to finish my story with the fire sent to me from the heavens above, just to make it out this far, because I've fought enough of the unseen battles, and now that I see them, I didn't want it to be anything like them. And I didn't even like the discovery of what I had already found. They didn't want me to have a reason, or to be able to see through every last part of it, or to start remembering any freaking thing. But I had started to remember every damn part of it, even all the ways that they had poisoned me to leave me betrayed, not only on myself, but to others, to hurt so bad to where I had began to hurt others, lashing out not only at my own family, but others, being aware of my own, being unaware of my own self at the same time. How could I even hurt? How could they not even hurt after all that they had done to me? I hurt bad. To still laugh and mock and play as though they couldn't break, even once, under their whole weight of everything that they knew, to fucking strip me of my everything. As if my destruction and their dismantling of me was just their formality, all behind the masks they wore. So how could they not ache? To the sight of all that was, seeing me in all of that pain, and the true me, the real me, they forsake. Just everything that they took away from me to leave me in scars. It's an incredible crime over me, a crime of a lifetime. Thanks for being here, guys. It really means a lot to me. I'm hopefully being able to make some moves here moving forward as I got somebody coming over here. Thanks a lot, and I appreciate you guys for being here very, very much. So until next time, God bless, and take care of yourselves.